You are working hard, incredibly hard. You trade your most precious, non-renewable resource, your time, for a paycheck. You sacrifice your mornings, your evenings, your energy, and your life force, all in exchange for a number that hits your bank account every 2 weeks. And yet, you are not getting rich. You are surviving. You are getting by, but you are not building wealth. You are trapped. You are in the time for money trap, the invisible prison that holds 99% of the population captive for their entire lives. The trap is simple. If you stop working, the money stops coming. Your income is directly and completely dependent on your continuous effort. This is not a position of power. It is a position of profound vulnerability. It is the source of the quiet, persistent anxiety that hums in the background of your life, the fear of a layoff, the fear of an illness, the fear of a world that could take away your ability to trade your time for money at any moment. You have been taught that the solution is to work harder to get a promotion, to earn a higher hourly wage. This is a lie. That is not a solution. It is simply a way to build a more comfortable prison cell. The fundamental flaw in the system remains the same. The secret, the one that the wealthy have understood for generations, is that you must break the link between your time and your income. You must build a machine that works for you day and night, 24/7, whether you are on vacation, whether you are sick, whether you are, quite literally, asleep. This audiobook is your manual for building that machine. It is the step-by-step blueprint for transitioning from a life where you work for your money to a life where your money works for you. This is not about getting lucky. This is not about being an investment genius. This is about a system, a set of principles, a series of habits that, when applied with relentless consistency, will create a river of passive income that will grow from a trickle to a flood, eventually liberating you from the time for money trap forever. The 99% will spend their lives as money earners. You are about to become a money magnet. You will learn how to turn your income into an army of dollar soldiers that go out into the world and conquer new territory for you, bringing back prisoners of war in the form of dividends, interest, and capital gains. If you are ready to stop being the engine and start being the engineer, if you are ready to build a life of true freedom and not just survival, then your real work starts now. To stay on this path of financial liberation and continue receiving the hard truths required to build your machine, subscribe to this channel right now. Don't be part of the 99% who trade their lives for a paycheck. Be the 1% who builds a system for freedom. Subscribe now and let's begin the work. And if you find value by the end of this video, please leave a meaningful comment to keep motivating us to make content like this. Chapter 1: The Time for Money Trap, Diagnosing the Prison. Let us begin by diagnosing the invisible prison you are living in. You cannot escape a cage until you can see the bars. The cage is the time for money trap, and it is the default financial reality for 99% of the population. The trap is a simple, brutal equation. Your time equals your money. You trade 1 hour of your life for a fixed amount of dollars. The only way to increase your income is to either trade more hours or to slightly increase your hourly rate. This seems normal. It is the reality you have been conditioned to accept since your very first job, but it is a fundamentally flawed and dangerous way to live. Why? Because you only have a finite amount of time. You cannot work 24 hours a day. You need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to rest. This means there is a hard mathematical ceiling on your earning potential. No matter how hard you work, you will eventually hit that ceiling. Furthermore, your ability to trade time for money is fragile. It is dependent on your health, on your job security, and on the whims of the economy. A single illness, a single layoff, a single recession can instantly turn off the spigot of your income. You are not in a position of power. You are in a position of dependence. The 99% live their entire lives in this trap. They become very good at it. They learn how to negotiate for a 3% raise. They learn how to work overtime. They might even get a second job, trading even more of their precious hours for a few more dollars. They are becoming more efficient at running on the hamster wheel, but they are still on the hamster wheel. They are digging a ditch with a shovel, and their only strategy for digging faster is to get a slightly bigger shovel or to dig for more hours. The winner, the 1%, understands that this is a losing game. They are not interested in getting a bigger shovel. They are interested in building a machine, an excavator that can do the digging for them. They have made a profound and life-altering decision to break the link between their time and their income. They have decided to stop being the engine of their own wealth creation and to start being the architect of a system that creates wealth for them. This requires a complete reversal of your financial thinking. The 99% ask, "How much did I earn today?" The winner asks, "What did my assets earn for me today?" The 99% think in terms of active income, the money they earn from their direct labor. The winner thinks in terms of passive income, the money they earn from the assets they own, whether they are working or not. Passive income is the money that works while you sleep. It is the rent from a real estate property. It is the dividends from a stock portfolio. It is the royalties from a book you wrote. It is the profit from a business that runs on a system, not on your direct involvement. The goal of the game is not to have the highest active income. The goal of the game is to build your passive income to a point where it exceeds your living expenses. This is the moment of liberation. This is the moment you have achieved financial freedom. This is the moment you are no longer forced to trade your time for money to survive. You can still choose to work, but you are working from a position of power and choice, not from a position of necessity and desperation. This shift begins with a mental declaration of independence. You must see the time for money trap for the prison that it is. You must develop a healthy dissatisfaction with the status quo. You must stop seeing your job as the source of your wealth and start seeing it as the seed capital for building your wealth machine. The 99% see their paycheck as money to be spent. The winner sees their paycheck as a collection of seeds to be planted. Every dollar you spend on a fleeting pleasure is a seed you have eaten. Every dollar you invest in an asset is a seed you have planted in the field of your future freedom. This is not just a nice idea. It is a fundamental law of wealth. The people you see as rich are not just high-income earners. They are owners. They own assets, businesses, real estate, stocks that are constantly generating income for them. Their wealth is not dependent on their presence. Their money is working for them. Your money right now is likely a lazy, unproductive servant. Your mission is to transform it into a disciplined, hard-working army of soldiers that will fight and conquer on your behalf. This chapter is your wake-up call. It is the moment you see the bars of your cage. You see the hamster wheel you have been running on. You see the fundamental flaw in the equation that has been governing your life. You are in the time for money trap, but you now know that there is a door. The rest of this audiobook is about giving you the key and showing you how to use it. The first step is to see the trap. The second step is to decide with every fiber of your being that you will no longer be its prisoner. Chapter 2: The Owner's Mindset, From Earner to Investor. You have seen the bars of your prison, the time for money trap. Now we must forge the key that will unlock it. This key is not a financial product. It is not a secret investment strategy. It is a profound and fundamental shift in your identity. It is the transformation from the mindset of an earner to the mindset of an owner. This is the single most important internal change you will ever make, and it is the bedrock upon which all future wealth is built. The 99% of people live their entire lives with the identity of an earner. An earner's primary financial focus is their paycheck. They see themselves as a worker, a laborer, an employee. They work for money. Their entire financial model is based on trading their effort for a wage. They see their job as the end game, the source of their financial well-being. The owner's mindset is a complete and total reversal of this. An owner's primary financial focus is not their paycheck. It is their asset column. An owner does not just work for money. They acquire assets that work for them. They see their job not as the end game, but as a temporary and strategic source of capital that they can use to buy or build income-generating assets. An earner sees a dollar and asks, "What can I buy with this?" This is the question of a consumer. Their money is for spending. An owner sees a dollar and asks, "What asset can this dollar acquire for me?" This is the question of an investor. Their money is for owning. Every dollar is a soldier, a seed, a potential employee that can be put to work in the army of their wealth. The earner is focused on their income statement. They are concerned with the money that flows in and out each month. The owner is obsessed with their balance sheet. They are focused on their net worth, the value of their assets minus their liabilities. The earner's game is to increase their income so they can increase their spending. The owner's game is to increase their assets so they can increase their passive income. These are two completely different games, played on two completely different fields. You have been trained your entire life to be an earner. You went to school to learn how to be a good employee, how to get a good job. You were never taught how to be an owner. This is not your fault, but it is now your responsibility to change it. This shift in identity is a daily practice. It is about consciously catching the thoughts of the earner and replacing them with the thoughts of the owner. When you get a raise at work, the earner's first thought is, "Great, now I can afford a bigger apartment or a nicer car." The owner's first thought is, "Great, now I can increase my monthly investment and buy my freedom that much faster." The earner sees a luxury car as a symbol of wealth. The owner sees it as a liability, an asset-destroying machine that takes soldiers out of their army and sends them to the graveyard of depreciation. The owner knows that true wealth is not what you spend. It is what you own that works for you. One of the most powerful mental models for an owner is to think of their life as a business. You, Inc. You are the CEO of this business. Your job is to maximize the long-term equity of the company. A good CEO would never spend all of the company's profits on a fancy new office. They would reinvest a significant portion of those profits back into the business to fuel future growth. You must do the same. A portion of every single dollar you earn does not belong to you, the consumer. It belongs to you, Inc., the company. It is the capital that must be reinvested to build the company's future. This is the principle of paying yourself first, which we will discuss in detail. The earner mindset is also a mindset of dependence. The earner is dependent on their employer for their livelihood. The owner's mindset is one of sovereignty and independence. They are not just building a job, they are building a system that will eventually make the job optional. They are building their own personal social security system, one that is far more reliable than any government program. This is the foundation. You must begin to see yourself differently. You are not just a worker. You are an investor in the making. You are not just an employee. You are the CEO of your own financial destiny. You are not just an earner. You are an owner. This identity shift is the fertile ground in which all the seeds of your future wealth will be planted. You must internalize it. You must repeat it. You must begin to act in accordance with it. Every time you choose to invest $1 instead of spending it, you are casting a vote for this new identity. You are providing your subconscious mind with evidence that you are no longer a mere earner, but a powerful and disciplined owner of your own future. Chapter 3: The Law of the Gap, the birthplace of your first investment. You have adopted the mindset of an owner. You are ready to stop being a mere earner and to start acquiring assets. But this raises a critical, practical question. Where does the money for these assets come from? The answer is the single most important mathematical principle in all of personal finance. It is the birthplace of your entire financial future. It is the law of the gap. The law of the gap is simple. Your wealth is not determined by how much money you make. It is determined by the size of the gap between what you make and what you spend. This gap, this surplus, this profit from your personal economy is the only money you will ever have available to invest. It is the seed corn from which your entire forest of wealth will grow. You can earn $1 million a year, but if you spend $1,001, you are not getting wealthier. You are getting poorer. Your gap is negative. Conversely, A person who earns $50,000 a year but who lives on $40,000 and creates a $10,000 gap is on the fast track to wealth. Their gap is positive and powerful. The 99% of people are completely obsessed with the income side of the equation. They focus all their energy on trying to earn more, believing that a higher income will solve their problems. But as we've seen, this is a fallacy. Due to lifestyle inflation, their spending almost always rises to meet their income, and the gap remains at or near zero. They are running faster, but they are still on the hamster wheel. The winner, the wealth builder, is equally, if not more, obsessed with the gap. They understand that the gap is their most powerful lever. They see themselves as the CEO of You, Inc., and their primary job is to maximize the company's monthly profit. And just like any business, this is done through a two-pronged strategy: increasing revenue, your income, and just as importantly, controlling costs, your spending. To master the law of the gap, you must first become a master of your own spending. You must move from unconscious consumption to intentional allocation. This is where the freedom plan, or budget, that we have discussed in other audiobooks becomes your essential tool. You must know with absolute clarity where every single one of your dollars is going. You must track your spending, categorize it, and then go through it with the ruthless eye of a cost-cutting CEO. You must ask of every expense, is this absolutely essential? Is this aligned with my deepest values and my goal of freedom? This is a process of plugging the leaks in your financial bucket. The 99% have hundreds of these leaks. The daily $5 coffee, the subscriptions you forgot you had, the takeout you order because you are too tired to cook. Each one seems small and insignificant, but 1,000 small leaks will sink a ship. Your job is to find these leaks and to plug them, one by one. This is not about a life of miserable deprivation. It is about a life of radical intention. It is about consciously deciding where you want your money to go, rather than letting it be siphoned off by your impulses and the marketing of the world. It is about cutting ruthlessly on the things you don't care about, so that you can have more to spend on the things you do care about, with the most important one being the purchase of your own freedom. The wider you can make this gap, the more fuel you will have for your investment engine. If you can create a gap of 10% of your income, you are doing well. If you can create a gap of 20%, you are on the fast track. If you can create a gap of 50% or more, you will achieve financial freedom in a shockingly short period of time. This requires a season of your life where you are willing to be different. You must have the discipline to say no to the lifestyle inflation that is trapping your peers. While they are upgrading their cars and their apartments with every raise, you will keep your lifestyle the same and widen your gap. You are playing a different game. They are playing the short-term game of looking rich. You are playing the long-term game of actually becoming free. The law of the gap is a law of sacrifice, but it is a strategic and temporary sacrifice. You are trading the short-term pleasure of a new gadget for the long-term, profound power of owning your own time. This gap is the birthplace of your army. Every dollar you rescue from the black hole of mindless consumption is a new soldier you can deploy into the field to fight for your freedom. A small gap means a small army, and your journey will be long. A large gap means a large and powerful army, and your victory will be swift. So the mission is clear. You must become obsessed with your personal savings rate, the percentage of your income that falls into the gap. This is the most important number in your financial life. Track it, measure it, and dedicate yourself to increasing it month after month. How wide can you make your gap? The answer to that question will determine the speed at which your money begins to work for you while you sleep. Master this law, and you will have mastered the art of creating the raw material for your own liberation. Chapter 4: Your First Employee. The Role of an Emergency Fund. You have embraced the owner's mindset. You have begun to master the law of the gap, creating a surplus of capital each month. You are now holding your first batch of seeds, your first platoon of dollar soldiers. The temptation for the eager new investor is to immediately send these soldiers into the most aggressive battle possible, the stock market. This is a rookie mistake, and it is a mistake that can be fatal to your long-term mission. Before you can become a masterful general on the offensive, you must first secure your home base. You must build a fortress of defense. This fortress, this first line of defense, is your emergency fund. And it is the very first employee you will hire with the money from your gap. The 99% of people live on a financial cliff edge. They have little to no cash reserves. They are one unexpected event, a job loss, a medical bill, a major car repair, away from a complete financial catastrophe. When an emergency strikes, they have no choice but to go into high-interest credit card debt, to take out a personal loan, or to raid their retirement savings. A single stroke of bad luck can instantly wipe out years of progress and send them spiraling back into a hole of debt that can take years to climb out of. They are financially fragile. The winner, the wealth builder, knows that life is inherently unpredictable. Emergencies are not a question of if, but of when. Therefore, they do not just hope for the best, they prepare for the worst. They build a financial moat around their castle. They hire a full-time, 24/7 security guard for their financial life. That security guard is a fully funded emergency fund. An emergency fund is a stash of cash, typically 3 to 6 months' worth of your essential living expenses, kept in a separate, liquid, and easily accessible savings account. This money has one job and one job only: to be there for you in a true emergency. It is not an investment. Its job is not to make you rich. Its job is to prevent you from becoming poor. Its return is not measured in a percentage. It is measured in the peace of mind and the security it provides. The process of building this is your first mission for your newly created gap. Your first goal is to build a starter emergency fund of $1,000. This should be your single-minded financial focus. You will attack this goal with an intensity that borders on obsession. You will sell things. You will work extra hours. You will cut your spending to the bone. You must build this initial buffer as quickly as possible. That first $1,000 is a powerful psychological victory. It is the first wall of your fortress. It is the difference between a flat tire being an annoyance and a flat tire being a debt-inducing crisis. This money must be kept separate from your regular checking account. This is crucial. If it is commingled with your daily spending money, it will inevitably be borrowed for non-emergencies. By putting it in a separate, high-yield savings account, preferably at a different bank, you are creating a psychological and logistical barrier. You are protecting your emergency fund from your own worst enemy, your own impulsive behavior. Once you have your $1,000 starter fund in place, your focus will shift to aggressively paying off any high-interest consumer debt, as we have discussed in other audiobooks. But after that debt is gone, you will return to your fortress and build it to its full strength. You will calculate your 3-6-month number by looking at your freedom plan. Add up your absolute bare-bones monthly survival expenses, housing, utilities, food, and transportation. Multiply that number by 3 to 6. That is your target. You will continue to pour the money from your gap into this fund until it is fully funded. The 99% will see this as a waste. That's a lot of money just sitting there not doing anything, they will say. They do not understand the role of this money. This money is your sleep at night fund. It is your tell your boss to take a hike fund. It is the financial foundation that gives you the stability and the confidence to take calculated risks in your career and your investments. When you have a fully funded emergency fund, you operate from a position of power, not of fear. You can negotiate for a raise with more confidence because you are not terrified of losing your job. You can start a side business with less anxiety because you have a cushion to fall back on. You can weather a stock market crash without panicking and selling at the bottom because you know your living expenses are covered. Your emergency fund is not just a pile of cash. It is your first and most loyal employee. It works for you 24/7, providing the priceless service of security. Do not skip this step. Do not rush it. Build your fortress. Hire your first employee. It is the most important investment you will make in your own peace of mind, and the foundation upon which your entire wealth-building empire will be constructed. Chapter 5. The Anchor of Debt. Why you can't invest your way out of a hole. There is a powerful and seductive lie that many people in the 99% tell themselves when they first get excited about investing. They have some high-interest debt, a credit card balance at 22%, a personal loan at 15%, and they also have a small surplus of money each month. They think, I'll use my surplus to invest in the stock market. The returns I make there will help me pay off my debt faster. This is the logic of a gambler, not an investor. And it is a catastrophic mistake that will keep you chained to the anchor of debt for years, if not decades, longer than necessary. You cannot invest your way out of a high-interest debt hole. You must dig your way out with the powerful shovel of your own focused income. This chapter is about a critical, non-negotiable step you must take after building your starter emergency fund, but before you begin any serious investing. You must declare a full-scale, scorched-earth war on your high-interest consumer debt. Why is this so crucial? The math is simple and brutal. Let's say you have a $5,000 credit card balance at a 20% interest rate. That debt is costing you $1,000 a year in interest alone, just for the privilege of carrying that balance. Now, let's say you take an extra $5,000 and you invest it in the stock market. Over the long term, the historical average return of the stock market is around 8–10% per year. In a good year, you might make $500 on that investment, but you are still paying $1,000 in interest on your debt. You are not getting ahead. You are losing $500 a year. You are trying to walk up a downward moving escalator. The 99% are blind to this math. They are seduced by the potential upside of investing, while ignoring the guaranteed corrosive downside of their debt. The winner, the wealth builder, understands that the greatest and most guaranteed investment return they can possibly achieve is the return they get from paying off their high-interest debt. When you pay off that 20% credit card, you have just given yourself a guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free 20% return on your money. There is no investment on planet Earth that can offer you that. Destroying your debt is the first and most powerful investment you will ever make in your future. It is the act of cutting the anchor that is holding your financial ship in place. As long as that anchor is down, no amount of wind in your investment sails will move you forward. So, the mission is clear. After you have your $1,000 starter emergency fund, 100% of the money in your gap is to be deployed as a weapon against your debt. You will use a systematic approach, like the debt snowball, which we have discussed in detail in other audiobooks. You will list your debts from smallest to largest, pay the minimums on all, and attack the smallest one with every extra dollar you have. When it is gone, you will roll that payment onto the next one, creating a snowball of momentum that will make you an unstoppable debt-destroying machine. This requires a season of intense, focused sacrifice. This is the time when you are living on what is called beans and rice, a metaphor for cutting your lifestyle down to the absolute bare essentials. No vacations, no restaurants, no new clothes. Every single dollar is a soldier, and every soldier is being sent to fight in the war against debt. You are trading a short period of intense discomfort for a lifetime of freedom. The 99% are not willing to make this trade. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to invest a little while still carrying the debt, while still maintaining their lifestyle. This is the path of perpetual mediocrity. It is the path of staying in the hole. The winner has the discipline and the foresight to understand that the fastest way out of the hole is to stop trying to decorate it and to focus all of your energy on climbing out. And what happens on the day you make that final debt payment? The anchor is cut. All of that money that you were sending to the banks every single month, hundreds or even thousands of dollars, is now yours to command. Your single greatest wealth-building tool, your income, has been liberated. You have given yourself a massive raise overnight. This is the moment your journey to wealth truly begins to accelerate. This is the moment you can turn your full financial firepower toward building your fully funded emergency fund and then, finally, toward building your automatic wealth machine. Do not skip this step. Do not try to outsmart the math. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of debt. You must clear the ground first. See debt as the emergency that it is. See it as the thief that is stealing your future. And then, with a focused and righteous fury, destroy it. Chapter 6: The Automatic Wealth Machine, Your First True Investment. The moment has arrived. You have forged the mindset of an owner. You have created a powerful gap between your income and your expenses. You have built your fortress of an emergency fund. You have destroyed the anchor of consumer debt. You are now standing on solid, debt-free ground with a surplus of capital each month, ready to be deployed. You are no longer just a saver. You are ready to become an investor. You are ready to build your automatic wealth machine, the engine that will work for you while you sleep. The world of investing can seem overwhelmingly complex. The 99% of people are paralyzed by this complexity. They are bombarded with stock tips, with complex charts, with the noise of the financial media, and they are so afraid of making a mistake that they do nothing. Their money sits in cash, losing its value to inflation. You will not do this. You are going to bypass the complexity completely. You are going to build your machine using one of the most simple, powerful, and proven investment strategies in the world: low-cost, broadly diversified index fund investing. Let's demystify this. An index fund is a type of investment that holds a collection of stocks designed to mimic a particular section of the market. For example, an S&P 500 index fund holds small pieces of the 500 largest companies in the United States. When you buy one share of this fund, you instantly become a part owner of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and 496 other powerhouse businesses. The genius of this strategy is threefold. First, it gives you instant diversification. Instead of trying to find the one winning stock, a needle in a haystack, you simply buy the entire haystack. This dramatically reduces your risk. Second, it is incredibly low cost. Since the fund is passively managed by a computer to simply track the index, the fees are a tiny fraction of what you would pay for a high-priced, expert fund manager. Over a lifetime, these low costs will save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third, it has a track record of beating the majority of those so-called experts over the long run. By simply owning the market, you are statistically likely to outperform most of the pros on Wall Street. Building your machine is a simple three-step process. Step 1. Open the right type of account. You want to use a tax-advantaged retirement account like a 401(k) through your employer, or an IRA, individual retirement account, that you open at a low-cost brokerage firm like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. These accounts are like greenhouses for your money, allowing it to grow and compound without the drag of taxes. Step 2. Choose your investments. Keep it brutally simple. A single total stock market index fund is a fantastic choice, giving you a piece of virtually every publicly traded company in your country. You could also add a total international stock market index fund to be a part owner of businesses all over the world. A simple 1 or 2 fund portfolio is all the complexity you will ever need. You are not a stock picker. You are a business owner. Step 3. Automate everything. This is the automatic part of your wealth machine. You will set up a recurring, automatic transfer from your bank account to your investment account to happen every single payday. This is the habit of paying yourself first put into practice. The money is invested before you even see it, before you have a chance to spend it. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging. It removes all emotion from the process. You are investing consistently, whether the market is up or down. When the market is down, your fixed dollar amount automatically buys more shares when they are on sale. When the market is up, it buys fewer. This simple, disciplined process is the key to long-term success. Once your machine is built, your job is to do the hardest thing of all, nothing. You must have the discipline to let it run. You do not panic and sell when the market crashes. You do not get greedy and try to time the market when it is soaring. You trust the system. You are a long-term investor, not a short-term speculator. You are playing a 30-year game, not a 30-day game. This is the entire strategy. It is simple. It is boring. And it is the most reliable path to multi-million-dollar wealth that has ever been invented for the average person. It is the system that allows your money to finally, truly, start working for you while you sleep. It is powered by the relentless growth of the global economy and fueled by the magical engine of compound interest, which we will discuss next. Do not be fooled by the simplicity. This is the secret. It is a secret hidden in plain sight, ignored by the 99% who are forever chasing complexity and excitement. You will be different. You will build your boring, simple, and incredibly powerful machine. You will automate it. And then you will let it run, quietly building your kingdom of freedom in the background of your life. Chapter 7. The Eighth Wonder of the World, the Magic of Compounding. You have built your automatic wealth machine. It is now running in the background, automatically converting a portion of your income into ownership of the world's greatest businesses. Now, we must understand the magical fuel that powers this machine. It is a force so powerful that Albert Einstein is said to have called it the eighth wonder of the world. It is the force that will do the vast majority of the heavy lifting on your journey to wealth. That force is compound interest, or the magic of compounding. The 99% of people will never truly grasp or benefit from this force, because they live in a world of linear thinking and instant gratification. They think that if they save $100, they will have $100. They fail to understand that in the world of investing, your money can have bobbies, and then those bobbies can grow up and have their own bobbies. Compounding is a simple concept. It is the process of your earnings from an asset, whether from capital gains or interest, being reinvested to generate additional earnings over time. It is your money making money. And then the money your money made starts making its own money. This creates a snowball effect. In the beginning, the snowball is small. Your initial investment is the small handful of snow you pack together. As you roll it, it picks up more snow, getting slightly bigger. In the first few years of your investing journey, the growth will feel agonizingly slow. This is the plateau of latent potential. Your $10,000 investment might earn $800 in a year. This does not feel life-changing. This is where the 99% get discouraged. They lack the patience. They want the instant results. They abandon their snowball at the top of the hill and it melts away. The winner, the wealth builder, has faith in the process. They have a long-term perspective. They continue to systematically add more snow to their snowball, their monthly contributions, and they continue to roll it year after year. For the first 5, 10, even 15 years, the growth is steady but not spectacular. But then something magical begins to happen. The snowball becomes a boulder. The growth, which was once linear, becomes exponential. There will come a point where the earnings your existing money generates in a single year will be greater than the total amount of new money you are contributing. This is the crossover point. This is the moment your army of dollar soldiers is now so large that the new soldiers it is recruiting on its own outnumber the new soldiers you are sending from your paycheck. Your wealth machine has become self-perpetuating. Let's look at a simple example. If you invest $500 a month every month and earn a historical market average of 10% per year, after 10 years you will have invested $60,000 of your own money, and your portfolio will be worth around $102,000. That's good, but not staggering. After 20 years, you will have invested $120,000, and your portfolio will be worth over $350,000. Now it's getting interesting. But after 30 years, you will have invested $180,000, and your portfolio will be worth over $1.1 million. And after 40 years, you will have invested $240,000 and your portfolio will be worth nearly $3.2 million. Notice the pattern. The growth in the last 10 years is far greater than the growth in the first 10. In the final decade, your money grew by over $2 million. This is the magic of compounding. It is a game of patience. The most important ingredient in the formula is time. The longer you let your money work for you, the more powerful this effect becomes. This is why it is so critical to start investing as early as possible, even if you are starting with a small amount. The person who starts investing $200 a month at age 25 will end up with more money than the person who starts investing $500 a month at age 35. The 10 extra years of compounding are more powerful than the higher contribution amount. The 99% are always waiting. They are waiting until they have more money to invest. They are waiting until they know more. They are squandering their most powerful ally, time. The winner starts now with what they have. They plant their small seed today, knowing that time and the magic of compounding will grow it into a mighty oak. To harness this power, you must adopt the mindset of a farmer. You plant your seeds, your investments. You consistently water them, your monthly contributions. And then you have the patience to let them grow. You do not pull them up every day to see how they are doing. You trust the process. This means you must have the emotional discipline to not touch your investments. You must let them cook. You must let them compound for decades. The 99% lack this discipline. They get scared during a market crash and sell. They get greedy during a bubble and start trading. They are constantly interrupting the compounding process. You must be different. Build your automatic wealth machine. Feed it consistently. And then, have the wisdom and the patience to get out of the way and let the most powerful financial force in the universe work its magic for you. This is how your money truly, powerfully, and exponentially works for you while you sleep. Chapter 8: Fueling the Machine. The power of increasing your income. Your automatic wealth machine is built and running. It is being powered by the magical fuel of compounding. The single greatest factor that will determine the speed at which you reach your destination of financial freedom is the amount of fuel you can pour into that machine. The fuel is the money from your gap, your savings rate. And the most powerful way to increase the size of that gap is not just to cut your expenses, but to dramatically increase your income. This is the step where you go from playing a good defensive game to playing a world-class offensive game. The 99% of people see their income as a fixed variable, something that is given to them by their employer. They wait for their annual 3% cost of living raise, and they accept that as their lot in life. They are playing a passive role in their own earning potential. The winner, the wealth builder, sees their income as a dynamic, controllable, and expandable variable. They are not passive recipients. They are active creators of their own income. They know that their income is a direct reflection of the value they provide, and they are obsessed with increasing that value. As we've discussed in other audiobooks, there are two primary paths to supercharging your income: maximizing your value within your primary career and building additional, scalable streams of income outside of it. You must do both. To maximize your value at your day job, you must stop acting like an employee and start acting like an invaluable problem solver. You must become so good at what you do that your employer cannot afford to lose you. This means a relentless commitment to self-education, to mastering the high-value skills in your industry, and to proactively seeking out and solving your company's biggest and most painful problems. The person who consistently makes their boss's life easier and makes the company more money is the person who has the leverage to command a top-tier salary. But the true game changer, the habit that separates the millionaire from the multimillionaire, is the creation of multiple income streams. Relying on a single paycheck from a single employer is a position of extreme fragility in the modern economy. The winner builds a diversified income portfolio. They are not just an employee, they are an entrepreneur. They use their evenings and weekends not for passive consumption of entertainment, but for the active construction of new income-generating assets. This is the world of the side hustle, but you must be strategic. The goal is not just to trade more of your time for more money, like delivering for a food app. That is a short-term cash flow solution. The long-term goal is to build scalable income streams, businesses and assets that are not directly tied to your hours. You must look for opportunities to build something once that can pay you 1,000 times. Can you take your professional expertise and turn it into an online course or an e-book? You do the work once, and it can sell while you are sleeping. Can you build a niche website or a YouTube channel around a passion of yours and monetize it with advertising or affiliate links? Each piece of content is a digital soldier working to earn you money 24/7. Can you start a small service-based business like consulting, coaching, or freelance design, and then create systems and processes so that you can eventually hire others to do the work for you? You are building a machine, not just another job for yourself. This is the essence of making your money and your efforts work while you sleep. This requires a season of your life dedicated to intense, focused work. It requires sacrifice. While the 99% are on their couches, binge-watching the latest series, you will be on your laptop, building your future. You are trading their short-term comfort for your long-term freedom. It is a trade the winner is always willing to make. Every dollar you generate from these additional income streams is pure, high-octane fuel for your automatic wealth machine. Imagine being able to increase your monthly investment from $500 to $1,500. You have not just tripled your investment, you have dramatically shortened your timeline to financial freedom, potentially by a decade or more. The 99% will see this as too much work. They are comfortable. They are content with their single stream of income. The winner is hungry. They are playing a bigger game. They are not just trying to survive, they are trying to thrive. They are not just trying to build a comfortable retirement. They are trying to build an empire of freedom. Stop seeing your income as a fixed pie. See it as an expandable universe of possibility. Your earning potential is limited only by the value you are willing to create. Go on offense. Master your craft. Build your side hustles. And then take all of that extra ammunition and pour it into your wealth machine. This is how you go from a slow, steady crawl to an exhilarating, high-speed sprint toward the life of your dreams. Chapter 9. The Tangible Asset, Owning the Ground You Sleep On. Your automatic wealth machine is humming along, compounding your wealth in the paper assets of the stock market. This is a powerful, passive, and essential strategy. But there is another class of asset, a more tangible and traditional one, that many of the world's wealthiest people have used to build and store their fortunes. It is an asset you can see, touch, and stand on. It is the world of real estate. For many, real estate represents the ultimate way to have your money work for you while you sleep. A well-chosen rental property is a multifaceted wealth-building machine. The 99% of people only see real estate in one way, as a primary residence, a place to live. And for them, their home is often their biggest liability, not their biggest asset. It is a constant drain on their cash flow in the form of mortgage payments, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. The winner, the wealth builder, learns to see real estate not just as a place to live, but as an investment, a business. They learn to acquire properties that are not a drain on their cash flow, but that actually produce cash flow. They buy a property and they rent it out, and the rent paid by the tenant covers the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, and all the expenses, and still leaves a little bit of profit left over at the end of the month. This profit is pure, passive income. It is money that works for you while you sleep. But the cash flow is only the first of 4 powerful wealth-building engines that investment real estate provides. The second engine is appreciation. Over the long term, real estate in desirable areas has historically tended to increase in value. The property you buy today for $300,000 might be worth $500,000 in 15 years. This is your equity, your ownership stake, growing on its own. The third engine is loan paydown. Every single month, your tenant is paying you rent, and a portion of that rent is being used to pay down your mortgage. Every mortgage payment is increasing your equity in the property. Your tenant is, in effect, buying the asset for you over time. This is a form of forced savings that happens automatically in the background. The fourth engine is leverage. This is perhaps the most powerful and unique aspect of real estate investing. Leverage is the use of borrowed money to increase your potential return. When you buy a stock, you typically have to pay 100% of the price in cash. When you buy an investment property, you might only have to put down 20% of the price, and the bank will lend you the other 80%. This means you can control a large, expensive asset with a relatively small amount of your own money. If that $300,000 property goes up in value by just 5% in 1 year, that's a $15,000 gain. But you only invested $60,000, your 20% down payment. Your cash-on-cash return is a staggering 25%. This is the power of leverage. It can amplify your gains dramatically. It can also amplify your risk, which is why education and careful analysis are paramount. Real estate investing is not a passive activity in the same way that index fund investing is. It requires more work. It requires you to find the deal, to analyze the numbers, to manage the property, or to hire a property manager, and to deal with the inevitable problems that arise. It is a hands-on business. The 99% are terrified of this. They are afraid of the tenants and toilets. They see it as too much work and too much risk. The winner sees it as an opportunity. They are willing to put in the work to acquire a powerful, tangible asset that will work for them for the rest of their lives. They educate themselves. They learn their market. They learn how to analyze a deal. They build a team of real estate agents, lenders, and contractors. They treat it like the serious business that it is. Owning rental real estate is not a requirement for building wealth. You can become incredibly wealthy through index fund investing alone. But for those who are willing to take on the extra work and the extra risk, it can be a powerful accelerator on the path to financial freedom. It is a way to create a stable, predictable, and ever-increasing stream of income that is not tied to the volatility of the stock market. It is the ultimate expression of owning an asset that works for you while you sleep. The rent checks come in. The mortgage gets paid down. The property appreciates in value, all while you are living your life. It is a machine of a different kind, one built of bricks and mortar, but a powerful wealth machine nonetheless. Chapter 10: The Crossover Point, the Definition of True Wealth. We have journeyed through the entire process of building your wealth machine. We have transformed your mindset, mastered your cash flow, conquered your debts, and systematically converted your income into a powerful and growing portfolio of assets, both in the stock market and potentially in real estate. This brings us to the final destination. It is the moment that this entire audiobook is about. It is the tangible, mathematical definition of your money working for you while you sleep. It is the crossover point. The crossover point is the moment in your life when your annual income from your assets, your passive income, is greater than your annual living expenses. Let me repeat that. It is the moment the money your machine makes for you is more than the money you need to live. This is the definition of financial independence. This is the definition of true wealth. This is the moment you are free. The 99% of people will never reach this point. They will work their entire lives, from their 20s to their 60s or 70s, trading their time for money, and they will only be able to stop working when the government tells them they are old enough to receive a small pension. Their freedom is not their own. It is granted to them by an external system, and it only comes at the very end of their life. The winner, the wealth builder, is playing a different game. They are not waiting for a government-mandated retirement age. They are working towards a self-mandated freedom number. That number is the crossover point. The journey to this point is a simple mathematical one. On one side of the equation, you have your growing assets, which are producing a growing stream of passive income. On the other side of the equation, you have your living expenses. Your entire financial life is a race between these two lines on a graph. You are working to make the passive income line go up by investing more and giving it time to compound. And you are working to keep your expense line as low as is reasonably comfortable by avoiding lifestyle inflation. The moment the passive income line crosses above the expense line, you have won the game. This is a profound and life-altering moment. It is the moment the time for money trap is permanently sprung. You no longer have to work for money to survive. The machine you have so diligently built is now producing enough income to sustain your lifestyle indefinitely. From this point forward, work becomes a choice. You can choose to keep working in your job because you love it, but you are doing so from a position of power, not of desperation. You are a volunteer, not a hostage. You can choose to quit your job and dedicate your life to a lower-paying passion, to a charity, to travel, to spending more time with your family. You have bought back your life. You own your time. This is the ultimate prize. It is not about having a garage full of fancy cars. It is not about having $1 billion. It is about having 100% control over your 24 hours a day. It is about waking up in the morning and having the absolute freedom to choose how you will spend your day, without the decision being dictated by a need for a paycheck. The 99% dream of retirement, as a destination of endless leisure. For the winner, the crossover point is not an end. It is a beginning. It is the beginning of a life of purpose, of contribution, of adventure, lived on their own terms. It is the ultimate expression of a life lived by design, not by default. Your journey is to find your own crossover point. You must know your numbers. You must know your annual expenses. And you must have a clear target for the size of the asset portfolio you need to build to generate that level of income. This is your freedom number. Write it down. Make it your North Star. Let it be the focus of all your financial efforts. The 99% will work for 40 or 50 years, hoping they will have enough to retire. You are an engineer. You are building a machine with a specific performance target. You are leaving nothing to chance. You are building your freedom, one deliberate, disciplined, and powerful step at a time. The crossover point is waiting for you. It is the inevitable result of the system you have now learned to build. It is the prize at the end of the journey. It is the moment your money is not just working for you while you sleep. It is the moment your money is living your life for you, while you are free to truly live. The closing. The blueprint is complete. The machine has been designed. You began this journey as a worker, a laborer, a person trapped in a system of trading your finite time for a finite paycheck. You now hold the keys to a different reality. You now have the complete, step-by-step manual to transform yourself from a worker into an owner, from a consumer into an investor, from a person who works for money into a person whose money works for them. You now know the truth that the 99% will never grasp. True wealth is not about the size of your paycheck. It is about the size of the army of assets you have working for you while you sleep. But this knowledge, as powerful as it is still just potential energy. It is a schematic for a powerful engine that is still sitting in a crate in pieces on your garage floor. The vast majority of people who have listened to this will admire the schematic. They will agree with the design. And then they will leave the engine in the crate, and they will go back to the familiar, comfortable, and soul-crushing work of running on the hamster wheel. The gap between knowing the blueprint and building the machine is where most dreams die. But you are not most people. You have listened to the end because you are a builder. You are an engineer. You are tired of being the engine, and you are ready to become the architect. The journey from here is not about a single, grand act of construction. It is about the first small, deliberate step. It is about making the decision today to create your first freedom plan. It is about finding your first $10 to put into your emergency fund. It is about making that first, small, automatic transfer to your new investment account. It is in these small, unsexy, and profoundly powerful first steps that the entire machine is built. This journey is about more than just money. It is about reclaiming your own life. It is about building a future where your time is your own, where your choices are not dictated by financial necessity, where you can wake up each morning with a sense of peace and power, knowing that you are the master of your own destiny. That is the ultimate prize. That is the freedom that your money is waiting to buy for you. The time for learning is over. The time for building has begun. The blueprint is in your hands. The tools are ready. Your future is not something you will hope for. It is a machine you will now begin to construct, piece by piece, day by day. Go and build your freedom.